Assalamu alaikum YouTube. Hello. So I decided I'm gonna build a new computer. The computer that I had before was a bit out of date from 2015, and it had a AMD FX series processor and old cheap motherboard, and just was not doing it for me any longer. And so, with stimulus check in hand, I decided perhaps it's time to build a new computer. And first computer that I built probably around 2006, and I got into computer building because I just loved the Elder Scrolls game series so much. The first Elder Scrolls game that I ever played was Morrowind, and that came out I think 2003, and 2003 is about when I started playing it. When I was a kid, I grew up with a single mother, and she worked often 2 or 3 jobs and was never home. But I was home, and I had to stay home. I had to watch my younger brother, so I couldn't go out and socialize or have friends like a lot of other kids. But I was home, I had a computer, and I had dial-up internet back then. And so I played online gaming, Command and Conquer. I played a lot of that online with dial-up. I played Elder Scrolls Morrowind. I played Diablo online with dial-up. Diablo 2. So I've always been kind of a computer nerd, and I built my first computer just so I could play the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And so I built a computer around that time. Had this old cheesy green case. I wish I still had a picture of it, but I don't believe I do. And did the job. I could play Oblivion on pretty much the minimum specifications because I was on a budget. I only had a part-time job back then, and I was a teenager at that time. And then the next one I built was 2015, and now I'm building one now, 2020. And so the particular, you can see all the components behind me. I'll talk about them a little bit more in a moment, but basically I wanted to build a computer that predominantly was meant for video editing. And I also, do some gaming, so I'll have it be able to do some gaming on the side too. But, I want to make more videos for YouTube. I have an extremely busy life, but I want to start doing it again. and I want them to be more professional quality. So I'm starting first with, building a nice workstation computer, as they're called. And I'm hoping to get a nice, decent camera, better than the one I'm using right now, in order to make you guys some quality YouTube videos. And I've been using Sony Vegas since about 2013 to edit videos, but I'm hoping maybe to get into more of the Adobe products, Premiere Pro, and all these different things, in order to bring you guys slightly better content. And besides making language videos too, I went and got my master's degree in, the history of the Middle East and the Islamic world, and so I might make a YouTube channel regarding that as well. And I'm definitely planning to do more Arabic lessons from the El Medina series, probably some more German lessons. And I'm studying French right now, and I'm also studying Turkish, so I might do some video blogs about studying French and Turkish. And I might do some videos in the future about Somali too, because I still, learn Somali, and I still use it on a regular basis. Living here in Minnesota, it is the most widely spoken language after English. And so to talk more about my build here, I wanted to do a Threadripper build because it seemed like that's the latest and greatest and newest thing here for video editing. Having the multiple cores and multiple threads. But then again, I didn't want to break the bank either, so I went with a 1900X Threadripper CPU. You can see over there. And with the idea that later on I could upgrade it, to something much bigger, maybe some, because it's only 8 cores, 16 threads, but I'm thinking, in the future I could upgrade to something that's 12 core, 16 core, 24 core, or even, 32 core, or whatever it may be at that time. The motherboard that I have is a GIGABYTE, X399 Designare EX, and the X399 chipset. It'll allow for second gen Threadrippers, but if I want to go to third gen, I will have to get a new motherboard, but I don't think, that'll be totally necessary, so I'm cool with, the X399 chipset. And I wanted to get a quality motherboard because all the previous builds that I've done were really, the cheapest, most budget motherboard, so I wanted to have a good, decent motherboard for the first time in my life, and the quality is very noticeable, so I'm glad that I went through with that. I'm making this video after having built the computer, so all of this is being edited with my Threadripper build. And I went with GeForce RTX 2080 Super, and this is the AORUS one from GIGABYTE, and it is water cooled and got some very fancy RGB display on it. Even the motherboard has some fancy RGB display on it, which you'll see later. And as you can see underneath the Threadripper, I do have the H115i RGB Platinum from Corsair. I also have Corsair case. What you can't see in this stuff is I also have Corsair RGB Vengeance white color RAM, 32 gigabytes, two 16 gigabyte sticks. I like Corsair. You can see the case is also Corsair there, Carbide series Air 540. I got the white one, white and black, because I've always had, I had that green case was my first one, but I've had this black case for forever for my AMD FX computer, and I've just wanted something different, so I got a white monitor now, so I might as well get a white case, and they look real nice sitting next to each other on the desk. And definitely looks better than the old beige towers that we had. And I just wish I could find a DVD like optical drive that was white color, but I couldn't really find one anywhere online. Most people don't even use optical drives anymore at all, it seems like these days. I had one just laying around, which you can see I put it next to Threadripper there, just laying around. That's an old one, but it's still SATA, probably SATA Gen 1. But I decided to throw it in there, why not? I hardly use it, but it's nice to have it when you need it. Then last but not least is the power supply. Right now, because of the coronavirus, there is a massive shortage, it seems like, in power supplies, and what there is very expensive. So the supply chain has definitely been limited. And even after having built my computer, when I go and look now, it's even much worse than when I purchased the parts, in probably like early May. But I have the EVGA SuperNOVA 650p2, which is a 80 plus platinum 650 watt power supply. And I was nervous about going with a 650 watt power supply for the Threadripper build, but it all worked out just fine. I haven't had any issues with power thus far, and I've done all kinds of stress tests on my build, You know, I've stress tested the CPU and the graphics card at the same time, and no issues there with the power supply. No issues with you know, RGB Platinum IO from Corsair. The water cooling seems to keep the Threadripper cool, even though the block doesn't fully cover the CPU. It covers like the vast majority of it, most of it, but not all of it. But it still keeps it very cool. And then I can't get the graphics card to heat up. That thing, the water cooling on it is quite good. The radiator, though, I think is very low quality. It's clearly aluminum. The fins on it bend very easily. So you got to be careful with it. If you do go with that graphics card, just know that the IAO is very, I mean, not the all-in-one water cooling system in general, but the radiator specifically is very low quality. And it can easily get bent, scuffed up, broken, and ugly looking just installing it in your case. Because it is, I mean, clearly what I assume to be aluminum. And there's nothing wrong with aluminum. Aluminum, it cools things just fine. But it's definitely not as sturdy. So you got to keep that in mind. And so I put that as like my intake. And then I have the H115i RGB Platinum all-in-one water cooler as the exhaust at the top of the case for the CPU. So the intake for the graphics card and exhaust for CPU, and it seems to work really quite nicely. And I also have a rear exhaust fan as well, as you'll see in a moment. But that's basically the overview of the build, what it all includes and why I'm doing it. And yeah, that's basically about it. Assalamu alaikum, dear internet. So I have here a motherboard of a new computer that I'm going to build. It's for a Threadripper build, GIGABYTE motherboard here. And this is a really heavy box. I mean, if I had to guess, it's got to be at least 20 pounds, which is pretty intense for a motherboard. But this is the one that I got here. The box is pretty intense to open up to. It's even got this fancy kind of design here, where it reminds me of like those pop-up books when you're a kid. And well, this is it. And a lot of people who've used these motherboards, they always complain that it doesn't come with no static electricity bag. So I'm making sure I keep grounded here. And they also complain that you basically have to break the box to get the motherboard out. So we'll see what happens here. So they must mean the smaller box. Comes with a bunch of stickers and random stuff. These are little instructions so that the onboard Wi-Fi of the motherboard, doesn't give you the blue screen with Windows. So I gotta find some place to set those aside. So today all I plan to do, because I don't have all my components yet, is just to put the CPU in the socket. And I have a water cooler that's going to go on the CPU, the Threadripper. And then I'm just going to kind of leave it be, because most of my other components are coming here real soon. It's for SOI. And I'm not going to go through all the little parts here that come with this box. You can find that other videos on this motherboard. some nice little like cubby holes in the bottom of this box here. Okay. Some more stuff in here. Manual. So, alright. I'll end up putting that stuff back here in this box. So I'm going to use this box as kind of like the workstation here. Work table, workbench, whatever you want to call it. This is the workstation, actually. But I can see what people mean. So this foam here is like glued to this kind of this cardboard here, and so in order to get the motherboard out, you kind of have to break something here. So I'm gonna rip this foam instead of messing up the cardboard. Let's see how that goes. That aside. Let's see if it can, looks like it comes out easy enough like this. Alright. That thing is heavy. That is no joke. That is definitely a heavy motherboard. Take these little bits of plastic off here. Interesting. So on previous like videos that I seen of people using similar Threadripper motherboards from GIGABYTE, these blue tabs there looked to be plastic, but actually here they're metal. So I don't know if they've changed anything recently, or if it's just this motherboard in particular is more higher quality. That I'm not entirely sure, but there is the motherboard. GIGABYTE Designare X399. And then of course we have the actual Threadripper CPU right here. This one is probably the most entry-level Threadripper, the 1900X. So it's nothing fancy, but I hope to overclock it to 4 gigahertz. And the main reason why I wanted to do a Threadripper build is because this is mostly going to be for video editing, but I also do some light gaming, as some of you may know, but mainly I want it to be a workstation for video editing. And with the this chipset and with the Threadrippers here, I got lots of room to upgrade. If 5 years down the line I want to upgrade, hopefully the Threadrippers will be a lot cheaper by then. I'll definitely be able to do that, and hopefully it'll still be somewhat current, or even 3 years down the line, or 1 year down the line, or whatever. So with the Threadripper, you actually rip this tab off, take this kind of paper stuff off, and then you have this black foam casing. Put this all aside here. And this black foam casing comes apart. This is to protect it, obviously, in shipping, I'm assuming. The actual CPU is inside here. First, though, here's a little, looks like instruction booklet. Oh, got yourself fancy stickers if you want. Put stickers on your computer. An actual case and installation instructions. I've watched a lot of Threadripper installation videos, so I'm gonna wing it because I live dangerously. And then you have the wrench in order to get the CPU in there. I'll set that aside along with this motherboard one. And then you have this bracket here for fits a lot of standard water coolers. I'm just trying to get it out here without breaking the foam. So I've seen a lot of people kind of not know exactly what this is, but it's for water coolers. Set that all aside. And then I think it's time to open up the socket here. So slide out the external cap before sliding in the carrier frame with the CPU. And it's got engraved in the metal here, it says open 3, 2, 1. And it's engraved here 3, engraved there 2, engraved there 1, so that's pretty straightforward. Try to unscrew number 3. Ooh, that is in there tight, actually. Alright, unscrew that. And number 2, and you can kind of feel it when it's come unscrewed pretty good ways there. Ooh, I don't want to break things. How they got it in there so tight in the first place. Like this expensive motherboard, and then you go and break something just trying to get the screw out here. You can all make fun of me as much as you want, how much I suck at unscrewing motherboard screws here for the socket. Oh my gosh. Amateur in the house. And right now, for those of you who don't know, it's Ramadan, and so I'm trying to get this done before sunset, so that way I can break my fast on time. Well, I mean, either way, I'm going to go break my fast, but I just want to get this done before then. So I guess the key thing is to say Bismillah before you do it, just like Queen does. Bismillah. Oh boy. That is no joke. Make your heart rattle. Alright. And that just kind of naturally pops up there. Looks like still got to unscrew these ones some more, huh? Yeah, do we take these all the way out? That I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. It just pops up there. Okie doke. Make sure that thing don't lose the screws in it. And this thing's supposed to come up here. Maybe I should read the manual. Supposed to be able to push these tabs and get it to come up here. Maybe I should take a look at this little manual then, because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. A little fold up thing here. How many folds it got? Let's take a look. Does not tell you how. It says, you know, to unscrew them and then basically lift up the socket lid and carrier frame holder. It doesn't tell you how to get the carrier frame holder out of here. Oh, and well, I got it. Maybe I just should have messed with it a little bit more. I was just kind of stuck there a little bit. Came right up. Alright, so now it's time to actually take out the CPU. So I guess from what I've heard other people saying, what I'm looking at right here, the CPU pins are actually a part of the motherboard here. And from what I understand, the CPU doesn't have pins. But I could be wrong on that. Now I'm trying to open up the actual Threadripper. So you gotta twist it here. And there, you can see it right there. Let's see if we can get this sucker out without breaking anything. is, yep, I don't see no pins on there if you want to take a close-up look at it. That's it there. So we can take out this dummy sled right here. Take that out, set that aside. Put in the CPU here. Make sure that it's down all the way. Try to get that fit down there. Perfect. Looks like it just fits snug right in there. And then put this part on top here. Actually, we're supposed to use this torque wrench for that to tighten it up, so that's what I'm going to do. You basically go backwards. 1, 2, 3, as it says here, engraved. Okay. All right. Number 2. And the reason it has these this numbered system here is to make sure that the CPU is in all the way. Because if it's not in all the way, then it may still have some functionality, like it'll still boot, it'll still seem like it's working, but it's actually not going to connect to all the PCIe. It's not going to properly function it to the best of its ability, from what I understand. I'm not no tech wizard, but I know a little bit. Perfect. So that looks like it's in. So, as they say with building computers, it's nothing more than adult Legos. It's not that complicated. And give me a moment here, and I'm gonna check out the cooler. I'm just gonna set some of this stuff aside here. Figure out a decent way to put this all aside. This must have been the base. Put that back together a little bit. Am I putting it together backwards? No, I got it the right way. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's upside down though, so Threadripper's upside down. Who's gonna call me right in the middle of a live video? Rude. So, show you the cooler that I got. I don't know how well you can see it. I'll try to scoot this over just a bit. And I got the Corsair H115i RGB Platinum. So a lot of people, they're kind of afraid of getting a water cooler AIO for their Threadripper, because if you didn't notice, the Threadripper is much larger in size than many other CPUs. But from what I understand, the majority of the heat that's generated actually comes from the center of the CPU, not from the sides too much. And so the water cooler will cool the most important part that needs to be cooled. And you know, I went and did my research, and a lot of testimonials out there say that, you know, regular water coolers are working just fine on the Threadrippers. And so I got this one here, 280 millimeter. So, you know, dual fan water cooler from Corsair. So, like I said, 2080 millimeter. So hopefully this sucker will do all I need it to do. Otherwise, I can just upgrade it if I see that the CPU is not staying cool. Just get something else, or maybe get a air cooler. But I for the most part despise air coolers because they're obnoxiously big and obnoxiously ugly and obnoxiously loud. But that's just my personal subjective taste. So I'm going to scoot this over more and put in this air cooler. Get this sucker open, and see how it goes. I'm gonna have to go find a screwdriver. Why didn't I think to get that ahead of time? Well, I'm an idiot. Yep, probably have to. I thought I had one around here, but maybe not. Maybe it'll come with a little screwdriver. We'll find out. So, and don't make fun of me because I'm using a little kid's scissors to get this open. What you gotta do, what you gotta do. And then this motherboard here has room for 3 of the M.2 SSDs if you're into that. I already have a 2 terabyte SSD, you know, SATA cable SSD, which I just plan to transfer over from my old computer to this one, so it'll already have Windows and all that. And so I don't have any M.2 SSDs at the moment, but maybe I'll get one down the line. How do you get this open without busting it? It's like to the side here. It's almost as if they want you to break it so you can't return it. Alright, this is a hefty box. It looks like we got the manual, warranty guide. Alright. There's a Murshid for your warranty, in case you're into that type of thing. Alright. So, that looks like the CPU mount there. So, put nice plastic. There's the radiator. See that? Put that down. Force it gently. Look at these beasts of a fan. Very beastly fans here. And even though I'm live streaming this video here right now, I plan to make a few different videos and edit it all up into one big video so you can see the whole build. So this goes in. This goes from the cooler to the motherboard. This cord here. Let's see what else stuff is in here. There's some metal. I'm hoping they got a screwdriver in here, otherwise I'm going to have to end the video and come back. All different kinds of little screws there. Because it's supposed to be compatible with a million different CPUs, of course. You got an egg carton cardboard thing that holds it all together, but no screwdriver. So it looks like I'm going to have to cut this short here and go get a screwdriver and come back.
A few moments later.
Hopefully you can hear me this time. I don't think the audio was working last time, so I took a quick look at the manual and discovered that actually I did have a screwdriver all along. I just couldn't find it right next to me, of course. And I got all different kinds of screwdriver heads to go in this, so find what works. But looks like it's pretty easy install for the Threadripper in particular, because there's already, like, the motherboard already comes with its own back plate, so it's just a matter of taking the bracket off of the head here, or the cooler, and putting the Threadripper bracket on. And then that gray stuff there is like pre-applied thermal paste here, so it didn't come with none, so there's none to apply. Which for the Threadripper, it's a big chip, so thermal paste can get kind of tedious with it. I just gotta take off this bracket here. Make sure the whole radiator don't go with it. And so I want it to sit on my motherboard like so. How well you can see that there. So you got to make sure you put the bracket on the right way, because the Threadripper's got a pretty unique bracket there. It's kind of hard to shove in there, but it gives you a nice satisfying click when you do. There we go. That's nice and satisfying. Put that somewhere safe where it won't get dirty. Nothing will touch that. There. And then we got to put some standoff screws here on it. So you look at the manual just to make sure I have the exact right screws, because it comes with a lot of screws here. So, and it doesn't tell you what screws. Cool. Let's see if we can find them. It just says installing the AMD TR4 standoff screws. Maybe that's the name of the screws, like this, they're just named after the socket. Let's see what we got here. And wow, this is really okay. So it says there is a specific screw just for the TR4 socket. Alright, it looks kind of stubby. More stubby than the other standoff screws. So I guess that's how I'm supposed to figure it out. You can see this bag right here. That's what comes with the water cooler. I mean, that's just a ton of stuff. So, you know, I suppose a lot of it's for the radiator fans and all sorts of different stuff. But to have it not pre-sorted, I find fairly annoying. See how any characteristics I can look on the screw, just differentiate it. Yep, and it's got, I don't know if you can see this in the manual, but you see that there? It's got kind of a repeating kind of groove on it where the other ones do not. So now I got to do the fun chore of going through all these different standoff screws to find the right ones in this giant bag. And I'm afraid I'm going to lose some screws. Oh, brother. I guess they should have had them pre-sorted. See if I can find any more clues in the manual. That's just kind of a little bit terrible. I guess they want to give us more anxiety than normal with the PC build, because it's always anxious. I'm going to need that for later anyways. And I'm not seeing the particular standoff screws quite yet. Are they real hidden, or are they just not as depicted in the picture? Well, let's see what we can see. God, this is terrible. If I was really mad, I'd say لعن الله المصنع. But I'm not that mad quite yet. But what in the world? So these are all the different standoff screws, and none of them are quite as depicted. It says it's kind of the shortest stubby ones, so I pick out the stubby ones, I guess. So there are kind of 4 distinct little stubby ones there. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Let's see. So they're short and stubby, but it does look like one end is longer than the other, and they put the groove, you know, on one side rather than in the middle. So that must mean something. So I'm trying to figure out. Cool, they don't tell you. And it kind of looks like the longer side goes up. Wow. Could have made some better instructions here. At least it's polyglot instructions in every language. That way I can practice my other languages if I want to. But here goes nothing. It looks like one is thinner than the other too, so that might. Okay, so that might mean something as well. All right. So here goes nothing. radiator to where it should be. Set it here for now. Set that right there. See about screwing these in. Better make sure I'm grounded again. Get these standoff screws all put in. There's no help to the manual. And I know y'all probably want to make fun of me because I'm wearing my Kuwaiti pajamas today, but I don't care. I'm in quarantine, so I don't need to look fancy. And I'm just going to wear my Kuwaiti striped pajamas. Let's see here. And the one thing that you might notice about this, I don't know how well you can really see it, try to scoop some stuff over, with this socket, is these two are closer together and these two are further apart. So that's kind of like the, I guess, maybe clear sign of the Threadripper socket. So now I put the cooler head here in place. I'm not sure. Fits nicely and it lays nice and snug right on the CPU there. And then we thumb screw it down. And it's better to do it diagonally. Boy, that fits pretty good. It works out pretty well. And I can see from this angle that it does cover like the vast majority of the CPU surface there. So for people who worry whether the water cooler is gonna actually cover the whole Threadripper, I think it covers it quite significantly and quite good enough to keep it all the way cool. Because as I said before, it's mainly the center of the CPU that produces the heat. It's not going to be the far sides of it that produce the heat. So make sure that in. And time for the screwdriver. Hopefully that screwdriver head is too big. So let's get a smaller one. Smaller Phillips. It's Phillip H0, so that might be the right size. Yep, and it definitely is. So make sure they're all snug. Don't have to put a ton of force on anything computer related. Don't want to torque your computer components into oblivion. Just enough where everything's tight and snug. Alright. And that's basically about it. Only thing is, you know, put the fans on the cooler, but I'll do that when I actually put it all in the case, which I plan to do when I get the rest of my components. Most of them are coming tomorrow and the next day. So I'm just kind of taking it day by day and doing what little I can. And I'm going to splice all these videos together into a longer video later. And you can see this thing's got a quad channel memory. Got quite the heat sinks on it, and this is supposed to be RGB, this little piece here. And you can put another, you know, M.2 here, one here, one here. Of course, these are the PCI slots, PCIe. That's for the motherboard connector from the power supply. And just all kinds of goodies. All kinds of goodies. I'm trying to finish my Threadripper build, so here I am today yet again with more components, and I'm taking a big risk. I don't know how well you can see this here, but this is the power supply that I'm going to use. As you can see, 650 watts. Now, as you might know, Threadripper is a CPU that's known for using a bit more wattage. So this might not be enough, but I'm going to try it out. I checked on a website that was called Power Supply Calculator. So you can Google that. It's outervision.com, Power Supply Calculator. And basically for my build, they said this would be pretty much mostly what I would need. However, I am a little worried that under load or under, a lot of stress, this power supply might not hold up. So I might have to upgrade to maybe like 850 watts or something like that. But this is a EVGA power supply that I got, SuperNOVA 80 plus platinum. So hopefully it's pretty good. Should be pretty good. And then I gotta show you my RAM, RBG white RAM here. So this is DDR4. It's 32 gigabytes, so 216 gigabytes. And I probably will get another set just like this to, get the total up there to 64, because I do plan to use my build for doing lots of video editing, especially for Sheikh Samran Nas, who's beloved to me, and I basically do a lot of filming for him here in the United States. So I do a lot of filming and video editing and at various capacities. So definitely need some RAM. And then this is the thing that I'm also excited about, but also worried about. I don't know how you can see that there, but that's the AORUS GeForce RTX 2080 Super. It's got 8 gigabytes of GDR6 VRAM there. It's RGB, of course. Got a 4-year warranty, and it's got its own AIO, its own water cooling. And so that's what's got me a little worried, is I wonder if this graphics card is going to fit in my system, or with the water cooler, is it going to be too long? And if it is, then I might have to do some custom modifications to the computer case that I bought, which means taking out these hard drive bays that they have in the bottom and replacing it by cutting out some pieces there and making my own little spot for the water cooler if possible. So that is basically what I have on the table right now, and the idea is to get the system to boot, get the system to post, hopefully tonight. And if that's the case, then I will put my hard drive in there and see if I can get the sucker working. And I might stream this in more than one part, so likely I will. So if the stream cuts out, I'll be back momentarily. But I'm going to go get the case. I got the motherboard in there with the CPU I/O. So last time when I was streaming, I was just putting the motherboard on the box and putting the water cooler block and bracket and all that on. But I put the motherboard in the case, and I got the radiator and the fans up on top there, so it's blowing out. And I did a little bit of the wiring, case wiring. I don't know if you can see it in the bottom of the motherboard. So I got like the power button, reset button, and all that kind of stuff wired to the motherboard. You could disregard this little cardboard box here. That's just extra accessories for the case, and it's
out of the way where it is, so I haven't moved it yet. But we might as well open up this RAM and stick her in there. See, I don't know how well you can see this here, but see how it goes. And I also have my camcorder recording here too, so I can get some different angles, and I'm going to edit it all together into a video once I get this machine built and can actually edit with it. So open it up, and that's what it looks like there in the little plastic. Of course I had to get it white, you know, so it matches the case, because I don't want it to look all mismatched, right? I know it's a workstation, but it's still got to look good, right? So try to get this stuck up in here. So it looks like it's got to go the other way. There we go. Get that satisfying click. And then the next one. Probably looks like it's going to go this way. A little bit harder to finagle in there than the older systems, but looks like I got it, and hopefully it's in there the right way. I did check the motherboard manual, because it seems like with the Threadripper builds there, each motherboard is a little bit different, even if they have the same chipset. But we'll see when I boot it up if it'll register all the RAM. But that's the RAM there. So that part's done. That's the easy part. Now I'm going to try to unbox this graphics card and see if that will fit. First, let me take these off of the case here, so that way I can actually do some work. Get some work done on it. And while I'm at it, I probably should get my screwdriver as well. So I'm going to go grab that from behind me. And it looks like it's not where I left it. Well, I'll be. I'll have to figure out where in tarnation I left that thing at. Maybe I put it in my handy dandy executive computer desk. And I don't see it. Well then. At least we can get this unboxed for the time being. And see what the length and everything is. So first of all, this box is massive. This box is huge. And it's bigger than the motherboard box, which was already massive enough. So out of all the components, this thing's got the biggest box. So let's see how we get it open. Looks like just pull it over here. I have to move this over some. And we have this nice little, I don't know, looks like a folder. Ooh, fancy schmancy. Premium. It's got some little inserts here, a little driver CD, a little quick guide, and this fancy folder thing. Makes you feel premium, but I don't know if it's really that necessary. Some more foam. And looks like this is the anti-static bag in the graphics card. Alright. So this thing is definitely long. That is definitely a massive graphics card. Alright. This is the radiator and fans here, it looks like. I can get it out there. So that's basically what it looks like fresh out the box. So, little radiator here. Set that down very gently, ever so gently. And let's see if there's anything else in this magical box of wonders. And it looks like there isn't. Well, oh, I got a sticker. I can't put a graphics card in your system without having the sticker to show it off. So, gotta have that sticker. Otherwise, it's no good. You might as well return the whole thing. No good. I'll move that out of the way. Let's take a look at this. So, just sticking it in here. I don't know if this radiator will fit. Could put the graphics card maybe down here and have the AIO more up here. That might be feasible. That's probably what I'll do. But it'll still be a very, very tight fit. So that right there, I don't know how well you can see that. But that graphics card is pretty long. Pretty long. And then I gotta put a IO. So I might be able to make it happen. Guess we'll find out. I gotta figure out where my tools went. I don't know how those disappeared. I thought I put them somewhere handy so I could easily find them when I needed them, but apparently I did not. Unless my kids stole them.
A few moments later.
Got my tools, and I just did a little bit of thinking of how I can get this graphics card and water cooler to fit, and it looks like this PCI Express right here, I can stick my graphics card in, and that would probably just be enough, you know, clearance over at the back end over here at the graphics card to be able to get it all to fit. So I think what I'm gonna do here is just see perhaps how I can get my all-in-one water cooler here to fit. The best way is to have these here on top to make sure that air bubbles don't get trapped, but I'm not sure I'll be able to do that and also get my graphics card in the right PCI slot. If I stick it in there, will it reach? It might be a little bit stretched. Might just be a little bit stretched. I'm just going to set it carefully down there. Let's see how this will fit. Okay, because the other IAO, it might not fit. Oh boy, might have bit more off than I can chew. That's okay, I got a backup plan. I can alter the case if I need to. If I put this here, the graphics card will not fit. And if let's see if I can stick it the other way. Because these fans, I want to push this tubing here. If that tubing wasn't there, it might just barely fit. Which means I might have to turn the CPU I/O around. That might conflict with this fan here. Might have to put a smaller fan there or just take it out. We'll see. I think that will be probably the game plan as far as that goes. But for right now, I'm just more interested in getting the system to boot up. Sorry, I got the radiator in the way there. Just want it to get boot up. So I might just put the graphics card in, leave the water cooler out of the case for now, and just see if the system boots. So what I'm going to do is check out the power supply, see about getting that all wired, and see if the system boots. And after it boots, then I will see if I can maybe move this radiator around, see somehow if I can get this to just fit in the case naturally. And if not, then I have a plan. I don't know how well you can see the bottom here, but these are supposed to be hard drive bays for, you know, the old-fashioned disk drives. And you know, I could remove those, make this already is kind of open here, but I could kind of cut a little bit off here, a little bit off here, a little bit off here, and be able to, you know, mount the cooler down there kind of custom wise, kind of rig it up myself there, because there's looks like plenty of room, plenty of clearance. I think it's just bad design. This is a Corsair case, and I think it's just bad design on Corsair's end. You know, this is their Carbide Air 540 case. I would much rather be able to mount fans here or a radiator than have these old-fashioned, you know, hard disk drive bay things here. I mean, there's plenty of room on the other side, the back part of the case, for hard disk drives, that having these here are just frankly more annoying. This is supposed to be a case all about airflow, and that's why you have this part separate from where the power supply and hard drives and disk drives and stuff is, and yet they limit the amount of fans you can put in here, the amount of cooling, radiators, and all that. So that's kind of was always my backup plan, because I had a suspicion when I bought this card that it wasn't going to fit so nice and easily, but I'm fine with that. So I'm gonna set this aside, this beauty that's in her shroud, and I'm going to deal with the power supply. So give me one moment to get this gently out of the way. How about we take a look at the power supply? I'm going to turn this around so that you guys can see where the power supply is supposed to go. Got this hole right here, and this is where the power supply is supposed to go in the case. So I just turned the case around there so you can see the back end of it. And you can see over here I got the disk drive, old DVD-ROM drive, because I still got some games on DVD-ROM and CD-ROM that I like to play. Still got the old school Diablo 2 on CD-ROM. So let's see. Okay, this got upside down, herpaderp. So let's see what we got here. Got the manual for it. Set that aside. All these, got some nice little bag here. Fancy. Looks like cable management there. Some Velcro. Not sure. Oh, that's for the. Looks like 24 pin. SATA cables. So this is fully modular if you didn't catch that already. And just getting all these cables. Very nice looking cables. These all out of here. Looks like they got some Molex stuff too. Set that all aside. And looks like the power supply is in this nice little fancy bag with all the black foam on it. There's the power supply. SuperNOVA, it says. Pretty hefty, looks pretty nice. And so the way it mounts in this case is going to be sideways like this. Like so. But in order to do that, you have to adjust these little pieces here, kind of like footings here on the case. So I'm going to work on that. And this little foot here is just supposed to slide over. That sucker don't want to come out. There we go. So, let's see how we get this baby to fit in here. It doesn't want to go in easy. I have to figure out what's preventing it from sliding in real nice. Real tight. All the cables out of the way pretty much, but still don't want to quite sit nice and snug in there. Ooh, there we go. Not sure what it's pushing up against here. Looks to be in there pretty good. Just gotta screw it in here, I think. Didn't look like it came with any screws of its own, which means look at this box here that came with the case. See if there's something to screw it in here with. Oh, I lied. There are some little screws that came with the power supply. I just missed them. So let's see if we can get this baby screwed in here. And yes, I know I'm taking the risk of putting everything together when I know it may not boot, instead of just doing a test bench type thing with it. And that's because I like to live dangerously. And if it don't, well, then I'm happy to take it apart and fiddle with it, because I like doing it. And not everybody will, but I do. Boy, do they have this thing in here tight. I'm not sure how this little bracket is actually supposed to fit. I think that must be for other types of models, power supplies, other sizes. Because that does not fit with mine. And that's okay. It's a little superfluous anyways. But it looks like it's in there alright. I'll just tighten these up and see if they got any more give to them. Now, I'll start with the power supply cable. I mean, motherboard cable, excuse me. Get that put in here. I'm going to try to stick that through the best grommet I can here. Take a look at the other side. Let's see if I can sneak it through here. And next is going to be the CPU cables. Let me find those here. Take a look here. Take a look at all right. So let's see if this power supply got what it has. remove that grommet. And I try to keep these suckers stuck together here. So I do need both of them. And there's even room for extra too, which fortunately this power supply ain't supplying. So let's see if I get that stuck in there. That's a hard place to get at. I don't know how well you can see that there. Let me try to show you. Right up there. Real hard to get at. Well, I didn't expect this to be this hard. I might have to lay it flat. Lay it flat. Looks like there's a heat sink that's getting in the way of me plugging in the CPU connector. That is wild. Okay. Let's see if I can click in there. Looks like it's in all the way. Let me put, make sure it clicked. And it just came out. Looks like I'm going to be unable to unless I modify the cord. Yay! So, this thick piece on there, I don't know how well you can see that, looks like it's going to have to be cut off in order for it to properly go in correctly, because it conflicts with the heat spreader with the heat sink. So let me find my handy dandy scissors. See, these are the best scissors for building computers, guaranteed. See if we can get that thing to cut off. There we go. Well, that thing went flying, and that was that. Now let's see if we can get it to fit. I don't know how many times I'm going to spin this thing around, but probably a lot. Yay! Isn't computer building so much fun? That's sarcasm. Actually, it is fun. Sometimes you just have those moments where you're just like, oh man, I gotta do that. So it looks like it just went in smoothly. Once I cut that piece off there, it went in smoothly. Now I gotta get the twin header there with it. That went in nice and easy. Well, that's a bad motherboard design, because cables usually look like that, and I'm not going to blame the power supply manufacturer. Alright, well, that was a bit harder than I expected. I want to pull that slack in there so it looks decent. Alright. Now probably the only thing I got left is the graphics card. Let's see what I can do with that. And then I do have some SATA for like the pump and a couple fans and whatnot too, probably. So I ain't done with these power supply cords quite yet. But I tell you what, I think it's time to at least try to get the graphics card put in here. So I'm going to lay this flat. And see if I can move this webcam a bit. No, not really. The cord has reached its limit. I'm going to have to start by taking out some thumb screws here. These little brackets out. See if we can get this beauty slot in here nicely. Gotta do it ever so gently while holding the water cooler. Looks like I got her in there. Alright. And gotta screw those thumb screws back on. Make sure that it's secure. Oh boy. Looks like I'll use my other screwdriver. Now to ever so gently put it right side up. Alright, so as you can see, this graphics card is really beefy. And that ain't no joke. That is a big card. And you know, I wonder if I'd get the water cooler. I'd probably get the water cooler to fit in here. Just some slightly slimmer fans, but it might even just barely fit now that I got it out of the static bag, non-static bag. Looks like it will actually fit in there with just maybe 4 millimeters to spare. So this might work out pretty decent after all. Might work out pretty good. And it don't look too bad either. I mean, these kind of bump up, but that ain't no big deal. I think that is very feasible. Very, very, very feasible. So that's what I'll do. That actually worked out quite nicely. And I might even have room to maybe mount another fan. I just got to make sure that these fans blow in the right direction. Look like they do. Look like they do. But I'm going to finish wiring it up with the power supply and see if it turns on. So next thing is the graphics cord. Graphics cord cables here. EVGA cables. Let's see if we can get this puppy going. That is a beefy graphics card. Very beefy. Beefy, beefy, beefy. I like beefy. And when this card is under a lot of load and a lot of stress, they said that the minimum wattage power supply you need to have is a 650 watt power supply, which is what I got. So I'm hoping it'll hold up. I'm trying to go with the minimum. But if I have to upgrade to a 850 watt, then I'll do that. That's not an issue. So maybe I'll have that sneak out of this grommet. Down here. And because it did clear here, I could actually I could definitely move the graphics card up too, even if I needed to. But I kind of like it where it is. Kind of like it. These got to be attached together. Slide that in there. Oh, maybe I should do it the other way. Put that one in there. And then put this one in here. Oh, that is only... Looks like I'm going to need another EVGA cable. That one is not the right one. So, I'll probably zip tie that. I don't think this power supply or case, I'm not sure if it came with zip ties though. I have to go get some other ones. Well, anyways, let's get to business. This plugged in here. There we go. Get that nice satisfying click. I better get one SATA cable for the AIOs and different stuff here. So it looks like the AIO that comes here with the graphics card is all powered through the graphics card power. So doesn't look like there's nothing I gotta really wire there, which is convenient. And it's all zip tied and put together real nice. So I don't know how well you can see that there, but it's all zip tied together, put together real nice. Let me just plug in some SATA stuff here in the back. Alright. I guess the next step is to plug her into the wall and see what happens. Should all boot up here. See if I can get into the BIOS. Move some things out the way a little bit. Get that main power cord here. I guess we will find out what happens. Stick this behind the table, and you can have fun watching me crawl behind the table, or underneath the table rather. get peripherals hooked up here. See where the HDMI is supposed to come out of. I have to look at the graphics card. So I don't want to take off the protective covers for no reason. So, well, I had it somewhere in a handy dandy box. Okay. See if this one on the top should do there. Man, these protective covers are pretty serious. They're not like the flimsy rubber ones. These are pretty heavy duty ones. I can't get her off. Oh boy. I wonder if they got stuck in there behind the bracket. I think they did. Amateur mistake. But actually, no other graphics card I put in has done that. So that is different. Let's see if I can adjust that. Holy moly. Let me use the other screwdriver. I don't know how well you can see that there, but these over here are kind of caught. They're caught behind the case here. It looks like these openings here for the graphics card are really quite smaller than other cases that I've seen. It's a little strange. This is a hefty graphics card, so I gotta make sure I prop it up with my hand because it kind of just immediately drops down there. It's a pretty serious card here, so gotta give it some support. Oh boy. Try to ever so gently see if I can get one of these out, or all of them out for that matter. Man, them are hard even to pull out just like that. Ooh. All right. Don't want to lose my cooler. Don't want to lose my cooler. Oh, HDMI turned out to be on the bottom. Herp-a-derp. I'm a dummy. You can make fun of me. All right. Well, let's get her popped back in, I suppose. Maybe we should put her in that top slot. This is how not to build a computer. I'm doing everything the wrong way. But it'll work. It's just not ideal. Ooh. But that's how it is building a computer. Things always do not go as planned, and that's part of the fun, part of the challenge. You can plan as much as you want, and things will always throw a curveball at you. Always. That is how it works. At least these plastic covers here are so sturdy. These plastic covers are so sturdy that I can easily, pop them back in and keep them unused sockets there, or whatever, what you-ma-columns, protected from the dust there that I'm not using, the VGA ports or whatever you want to call them, video outputs. That's a thumb screw, so I don't use my thumb. Oh, and that's why. Alright. Maybe I'll try to pop her up top and see what happens. Gotta say Bismillah before pushing it in. Bismillah. There's a nice satisfying click. Now, gotta get lined up so I can screw her in. That's what she said. That's what she said. Somebody said that. If I can get it to thumb screw in. Oh, brother. Maybe I should have laid it down, but you know, as usual, I'm a dummy. Do that. That landed a little too hard for my comfort. I'm gonna break this premium system. I hope not. I hope not. Am I gonna electrocute myself? I hope not. At least I've kept grounded the whole time, so I don't have to worry about static electricity. I don't know, you didn't, probably couldn't see it because I was doing it off camera, touching the ground that I got set up. I don't like that they got thumb screws here for the bracket. They're a little bit harder to deal with, I think, than the regular screws. That might be just personal taste. All right. Oh, we can lay her down like that, and let me see what this I/O looks like with the graphics card up there. It definitely clears here, and it'll fit. It's not kinking, so I might just put her in just like that. That don't look too bad. And then it is easier to get under there then. Might have to cable manage differently, but that's no issue. So now plug in the peripherals. Or can I? Should we try to turn her on and see what happens? Should we try the power switch on the motherboard? And nothing, because I got to turn the power supply on. And ooh, I already got some RGB lighting going on there. Hope you're able to turn those off, or I won't be able to sleep at night. But let's see if we can get her to post. So I got the webcam right here on top of the monitor, and the power button on the case works. Fans turned on here. Fans turned on there. It's RGB beautiful. Show you what it looks like. BIOS is still going through some different postcodes there, and it looks like it posted. Hallelujah. Alhamdulillah. If you can see there, it posted. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is what I wanted. That is what I wanted to see. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Alright, so I'll give you another view of it before I turn her off and work on her some more. But, I mean, just look at that RGB. Oh, gotta love the RGB. Right? Some people don't like it. But hey, you can change it to whatever color you want, or you can have it rainbow. You want to take a gander. That's the graphics card water cooler. Probably shouldn't touch that, but I live dangerously. And it all seems to be, everything's spinning, everything's working. Everything seems to be good. So can't be more happy. Looks quite nice. I guess I'll turn her off. Well, that went smoother than I expected. Now let's see if I can get it to boot with Windows. So I put my new hard drive into the system here, and everything seems to be fine. It's booting up just fine. Windows came up just fine, detected all the hardware. Now I'm just installing drivers off of the CD-ROM because for whatever reason the Wi-Fi isn't working right off the bat right away. So I gotta install these drivers to get to the Wi-Fi to get to the real drivers. And so once I use the motherboard driver CD install CD, the Wi-Fi did start working, and as you can see right here, now that I got the Wi-Fi, I'm able to use the internet to download the latest drivers here for the graphics card, and well, everything else too. You gotta download all the latest drivers for the chipset and everything like that. But yeah, it so far went a lot easier than I expected, so gotta love the Threadripper.
I'm protecting this signal fire with my life. Anyone who wants to put it out will have to go through me.
So here I'm just testing out some games to just show you kind of the performance. I have it locked at 60 frames per second because I really don't think, you know, you need it much faster than that, honestly, for most gaming.
They are rage, brutal.
So this is Doom
without
2016.
Mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear.
I was never big into Doom games, but it seemed to be very popular, so I thought I'd just test it out here. And if you can't tell, I like the brightness high in my games. I don't like sitting in the dark. Not as fun. But that's personal preference, I suppose. Right away, this game just throws you into the action.
We have to contain this.
Basically, this game is all about, you know, fighting satanic forces. I'm sure most of you know about games more than me, but kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, you know, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, in the sense that you're trying to stop, you know, demons from hell from, you know, taking over Earth, more or less. Here, I believe this one takes place on Mars, and then the next one that just recently came out, I think it's called Doom Eternal, takes place on Earth. So I'm sure many of you have played this game much more than me and know much more about it than me.
Cannot determine the cause of the demonic invasion until the Resop satellite is brought back online.
But I just kind of want to show, you know, a Threadripper build, even though it's predominantly meant for video editing, still has the capability to game.
The head of this facility. I think we can work together and resolve this problem in a way that benefits us both.
Of course, usually for gaming, you know, they want fastest gigahertz. Not of cores don't matter quite as much, whereas it's the opposite for video editing.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect. Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect. Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect. Demonic presence eliminated. Lockdown disengaged.
Cannot be allowed to leave this place. He will everything.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand, our interest in their world was pure.
One of the reasons I've never really gotten to Doom is I like very story-driven games. Doom's not supposed to be that story-driven. But, you know, it's got enough story, and it's something where if your mind is tired, you don't feel like thinking a lot. You know, it's a fun game to go and shoot things up, but that's kind of about all it is. So hey, that's fun. So this must be the surface of Mars, I suppose. So you want me to go down there? Will I die if I drop down there? I don't see any demons anywhere. I guess I can drop just about any distance and not hurt. Okay, so there's some critters. Supposed to just drop down there then? Sweet. Alright, so this is Mass Effect Andromeda.
All personnel, overtime hours remain in effect.
I don't care what people say, I really love this game. And it had a bad launch, that's undoubtable, but this game is fun.
Maintenance crews, please
And I
report
think
to
a
the
lot of the
commons
complaints that people have with it are a little unfounded. Of course, like I said, when it launched it was terrible, but I think it's a great game.
How many times have I told you this story?
343.
Wait, what? You've been keeping count? Rushan, that's not funny.
Good job on the outpost. Maybe Addison will lighten up.
What do you mean?
She's been pretty upset about not having an initiative outpost established yet. Understandable, if you ask me. I'm just glad she's got work to focus on now.
Nothing more for now.
Later.
A ray of hope for sleep-starved residents. Maintenance begins on malfunctioning sub-
Hello, I'm Gian Garson, founder of the initiative. It's through your hard work that the vision of the Nexus has come to life. You and all your colleagues bind our proud new colonies together. Look around at your achievements. And if you have any questions, my door is always open.
Founder Garson's office is located at Workspace Not Allocated. Please select a topic. Anchorage wheel construction is now resumed. Water treatment systems are undergoing overhaul with new resources.
Sorry I don't have more of a action sequence to show you, but I still want to show you just kind of a more recent game and how amazing the visuals are with it. I'm not too much of a gamer myself, but it's pretty amazing if you ask me.
I'm sorry, Lana. They're just trying to boost our morale.
Pathfinder, maybe you can clear this up.
How can I help?
My friend Jory was on EOS the first go-round, barely survived. Now they want him to go back.
They're saying the conditions are improved, that it's safe now, is it?
We'll be dealing with threats on EOS for a while. If you're still recovering from your experiences, best stay on Nexus.
You see, Lana? I told you. Thank you, Pathfinder. I'll do that.
All personnel, be aware of any suspicious activity. Security is on heightened alert. A reminder to all personnel, overtime hours remain in
Dancing
effect.
down the stairs like that. That's good. Alright, docking bay, huh? That's where I'm supposed to go.
The human Pathfinder has died. Alec Ryder was killed after touching down on Habitat 7 in the Erickson system. Ryder's son has reportedly replaced him as Pathfinder, taking command of the Tempest in the ongoing search for a home in Andromeda. This is HNS.
Sure. Let me know what materials you need and I'll find you something. That's a...
Really not sure how the weapons work on this game quite yet, but I certainly like sniping. I'm not sure what I got here. Huh.
Just when I've balanced the air mix, another Yahoo has to come wandering through. Aren't you the Pathfinder? Dr. Camden, head of hydroponic sciences. Mind the seedlings.
I believe it.
Are you always this rude to people walking in?
Only when a mistake could kill everyone on the Nexus.
What do you mean?
Hydroponics is our air, food, and water. A frail green line between us and oblivion. We almost lost it all during the mutiny. Now it's my responsibility.
I know what surprise responsibility can be like.
So I hear. Perhaps we could share our burdens. I need samples of Andromeda's plant life. Our own specimens should acclimatize to them. Bring me any plants you find. You'll have a bounty in return, and my thanks.
Ooh, now I'm gonna collect some herbs, I guess. I'm supposed to go over there where I'm supposed to go.
Call out for the recent uprising.
For 600 years, but right now I could stay for 600 more.
Camden might try for strawberries soon. I'd kill for strawberries.
The Nexus invites you to visit the newly opened Vortex.
Don't show
Hey,
straight off
the Vortex.
Hi, Jessica DePaul.
Hi, Jessica. Welcome to the Nexus.
How may I assist?
That's all.
It has been my pleasure.
Can't walk through it.
For general questions, you may access one of our automated information
I
kiosks.
suppose. Just read this really good.
Fallout from the recent uprising.
Oh, Gil wanted you to check in.
Stunning. So this is Red Dead Redemption, which is a recent title and known for having pretty decent graphics. And so maybe I'll go to that village. Where's that village at? Valentine. And maybe I should head over there, huh? Check that out.
Evening. Evening.
I cannot remember what my horse looks like, but I'll just assume that's one of mine.
Hey, Arthur.
Okay, let's talk to you now.
Let's go, girl.
You're all right, girl.
Another drink here, bartender. Come on, sir. Try to remember what really happened at Sylvia's Saloon back in '76.
Just a lot of bunk, Plato. It's just a lot of bunk.
It's not bunk, Mr. Calloway, sir. It's history.
Ain't you?
Who's
your friend there? Done and dusted. Ha! Put that in your fucking book, Plato.
This is Jim Boy Calloway. The Jim Boy Calloway.
Who?
The gunslinger. Fastest left-handed draw that ever drew breath. He once killed 14 men in a fight at Lucy Hollow.
What are you waiting for?
How do you mean?
Well, I reckon right now, kill him yourself.
I don't want to kill him. I want to deify him. He's a god. I'm trying to write his biography.
How's that going?
I think I'd prefer the duel. Either I'd kill him and be able to be Baltimore's finest ever gunslinger, or he'd kill me and I could be set free from ever having to speak to him again.
Well, you're starting to understand something very important.
What's that?
The joys of gunslinging. It's win-win, freedom or glory.
That's brilliant. I'm going to write that down, if I may.
Be my guest.
What's your name?
I don't have a name.
But you are a gunslinger.
Not really. I mean, folks who need shooting, I try and shoot in the back. All that other stuff, it's, well, bunk.
But you fought duels.
Once upon a time, I may have.
And you ain't interested in fame?
I don't think so.
Strange. But you like fortune.
I need money, sure.
Okay. Then forgive me, mister, if I seem a little desperate. I am a little desperate. This book, I've got to make a thing of it, and, well, there's a whole list of gunfighters. Legends, every last one. Emmett Granger, Flaco Hernandez, Billy Midnight,
This game is
Black
really
Bell.
interesting.
Never heard of him.
Maybe you can
Very
go and
immersive.
speak to them. Ask them about Calloway. Any of them get uppity, shoot them. I can't believe I just said that, but...
You want me to go and find some sad, deluded fools like him, ask if he was the greatest, and then if they get uppity, shoot him?
Does sound a lot worse than it did in my head.
How much you paying?
Well, a lot. Half the proceeds of the book, if you help me get it written.
I'll see what I can do.
Ha! Oh, get photos.
Okay.
And there are notes on the back of those portraits that should lead you to him.
I'll see what I can find out.
I imagine we'll be stuck here upon your return.
It's like a fun little
Here
side
or some
quest.
other flop house.
All right, so I hope you can hear me all right, but this is Heaven benchmarking software here to benchmark the GPU. And so if you look this way in the other corner there, you should see like the frames per second and minimum and maximum frames per second and all of that. And then if you look up in the other corner there, the upper right corner, you'll see like the temperature of the GPU, the graphics card processor there, and all that type of thing. So this is basically testing the capabilities of the graphics card. And of course you get to see all the beautiful visuals of what modern graphics are capable of. Looks like it's glitching out just a little bit there. I've never seen it do that before. I think that's more of Heaven software than the GPU. So I did this test before and it did not happen. But you can see that the temperature of the GPU, it's staying pretty much just 44 degrees Celsius there. It doesn't seem to be climbing too much. So, and the frames per second, I'm pretty satisfied with that. That's more than adequate for gaming. Look at the rays come off that flag. Lens flare there. They say, shadows are some of the hardest part to get right in modern graphics. Shadows and lighting in the dark, very difficult. It certainly gives you more realism. Massive black chunks are coming from. Maybe someone will watch this video with more technology than me can explain that. The last time I ran this benchmark, I didn't have my webcam on here, but I was streaming it, and it did not have that big black blotch for the distance like that where the sky is supposed to be. Look at the shadows. Those are my results there, so you can compare them against your own builds and tell me what you get. Of course, I just have it set to 1080 because my monitor is only a 1080 monitor. So, and they say like 70% of people are using 1080p monitors right now anyways, so that's kind of the standard.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفارقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته